Hey, I'm Dustin with Super Raisins, and I'm here to show you some tips and tricks to use our split screen effects. Here we go. Okay, so the first tip would be when you have multiple, you have to make sure you add the effect to all three clips. See how they're all stacked right here? That's just what I want. Let's go down to a 3-screener. I'm going to throw bottom large on there to the top clip. You notice it only applies it to the top clip. So you have to make sure you apply it to every clip that you want it to be in this stack. And then once you apply them, you can just select the clip and select which zone you want them in. And that'll put everything where you want it to be. And once they're all there, of course, you can adjust how they look to taste. All right. That's the first. Look at Dylan's face. That's funny. Here we go. He's talking about raisins there. That's why he's got that sourpuss on. Let's go to the next tip. Okay, so the next tip concerns like using pictures and media that isn't the same dimensions as your timeline. So as you can see here, this is a 1920 by 1080 timeline, and this clip is 1920 by 1080. So I can apply an effect to it, and it's going to work perfectly. It looks fantastic, right? Just the way I want it. Let's undo that. But here I got a picture. And you can tell it's not 1920 by 1080 by the checkerboards on the side here, right? So it's a different resolution than 1920 by 1080. And let's throw a template on there. You see how the lines don't go out to the side and it kind of like doesn't really look right? That's because the resolution is different. And this will happen a lot like when you add pictures. Because most pictures you take aren't 1920 by 1080. They're higher resolution with different aspect ratios. Let's also take like vertical video. Say you got some vertical video here, and someone shot straight up and down, like from Instagram story or something, and you want to do the same thing. We'll add a template, and you see how it doesn't go all the way to the sides. This is because all the effect does is split the aspect ratio of the clip you're putting it on by whatever the template is. So let's undo that. Undo, undo. So to get around this, you're going to need to make, that's my dad by the way, pretty cool, right? You want to make these clips compound clips. So go daddy, right? And now that's a 1920 by 1080 clip, and when you add the effect, it's perfect. All right, look at that. He fits in there great. Let's undo it real quick, and I'll show you the same thing for Gritty, my own personal hero. You want to make that a compound clip, Gritty, right? Whatever you want to name it. And then you add the effect to it. And that'll be perfect. And you notice how it still doesn't fill up the screen? That's easy. You can just adjust it with the on-screen controls and get it fit into exactly where you want it, and it'll work out. Let's see all this put together, okay? All right, now that we stacked the clips, you can tell they're all different aspect ratios. But since we did make them compound clips, once we add the split screen effects, it'll be all right. All right, let's do right large. Put one on the top clip on Gritty. Put one over on Dad. Put one over on the Librarian. And I will just adjust the zones, right? So I want Gritty over in 2. That's perfect because it's up and, it's vertical, horizontal. Keep Dad in 1, I guess. We'll put the Librarian down here in zone 3. And after you select them all, you get on-screen controls for all of them too. So you can adjust them around the same time. Let's get him so we can see the most of them. A little bit. Okay, looks like that's about as good Dad frame we want to get. Get the Librarian in there. All right, cool. And we'll get Gritty up here as full screen as you can. All right, look at that. Perfect split screens. Isn't that awesome? And those are 3 different media formats and resolutions, right? So, Dad's a picture. The Librarian's is 1920 by 1080 HD clip. And Gritty is a 1080 by 1920 vertical clip. And all fits in the split screen perfectly. And all we had to do is make them compound clips. Super easy, right? And this also works in timelines that aren't 1920 by 1080. Say like you're making a square composition for Instagram or a 1080 by 1350 composition for Instagram. You're going to need to make compound clips for those too. Let me show you those real quick. Okay, so here we have a 1080 by 1080 timeline. So a square, essentially. It'll work with any type of square. And you can see I have a 1080 by 1080 clip here. And let's apply a split screen effect to it. I like this one, quarters. And look, it works perfectly, right? You can move everything around, everything's super divided just like it should be. But, like we said before, let's apply that to a clip that's not a square, like Dad's picture here. See what it does? Same deal. It splits it up into quarters based on the media resolution. Gritty again, quarters. Look, same deal. And even 1920 by 1080, look at this. Does the same deal. We don't want this, do we? No, we don't. What do we got to do? You got it. Compound clips, new compound clips. Book, new compound clip. Gritty, new compound clip. Dad. All right. What we'll do again, we'll stack them all. Okay, here they are all stacked. Let's add some split screen effects onto them, see how it goes. Quarters on the Dad, new compound clip. Perfect. I love it. Gritty underneath. Quarters. New compound clip right on there. Zone selection 2. Perfect. Look at that. Let's make them a little bit bigger so we got more wiggle room. The book lady. Throw it on there. New compound clip. Zone selection 3. Oh, look at that. Fits perfectly in with everything else. And then the original clip that's already a square. Throw that on there. Zone selection 4. Look at what's she doing. Awesome. So when using our split screen effects, you're going to want to make sure that the media matches the timeline. So if it's a 1920 by 1080 timeline, the media needs to be 1920 by 1080 for the effect to work properly. And if it isn't, all you have to do is make a compound clip within that timeline and it'll work. And this principle is true through every other resolution timeline you can have. Whether it's for Instagram, so it's 1080 by 1350, or 1080 by 1080, or vertical 1080 by 1920. If your media doesn't natively match that resolution, all you have to do is make it a compound clip and it'll work perfectly. Fantastic. I hope these tips helped you. If you have any questions, feel free to email us. Thanks a lot for your purchase and have a fantastic day.